Well, we've only got 3 episodes in, so welcome back to Character Select.
No, but are they all this long?
They can be.
Court is now in session for the trial of Mr. Will Powers.
The prosecution is ready, Your Honor. The defense is ready, Your Honor.
Today will be the final day of this turnabout trial. I hope the prosecution and the defense will be able to present decisive evidence. Very well, Mr. Edgeworth, your opening statement.
We still have that picture, right? Oh yeah, okay, cool.
Okay,
sometimes you just lose evidence, so you gotta be careful. In yesterday's session, the defense presented us with a new theory for this case. He claims that the scene of the crime was in fact Studio 2. Today I will call on people present in the Studio 2 trailer that day. From their testimonies, the truth will become clear.
I know, like, we're not part of, like, it's not Edgeworth's story we're following, but, like, isn't it weird we didn't cross over at all? Like,
potentially. Sometimes it's one of those things that, like, there's certain plot holes in the game for narrative effect. Like, where the hell was Gumshoe, or where the hell was Edgeworth? Edgeworth was mostly letting the police do the investigating. We don't have the police resources, so we have to do our own investigating. But in later cases, we do cross paths with him, so it's kind of a thing like
it's
that.
Like the police were only there because he was telling them don't shoot. Yeah. Very well.
Edgeworth seems a bit on edge today.
You may call your first witness, Mr. Edgeworth.
The prosecution calls Miss D. Vasquez to the stand. Miss D. Vasquez is a producer who was present in the Studio 2 trailer that day. Will the witness state her name and occupation?
Why is she smoking in court?
D. Vasquez, I am a producer for Global Studios. On the day of the murder, you were in the trailer in Studio 2. As everyone here knows, yes? I dislike needless banter. If you must pontificate, do it when I'm not here.
Very well, Miss Vasquez. Please give the court your testimony concerning the day of the murder.
Nick, I know she did it. Make her pay. Right. If she's guilty, I'll catch her with her pants down, so to speak.
Jesus.
I entered the trailer, a little before noon. The meeting began at 12 sharp and ended at 4. There was to be a rehearsal afterwards, so we went to Studio 1. I was fatigued, so I had Sal take me. At 2:30, we took a 15-minute break in the meeting. Sal and I ate T-bone steaks on the table in front of the trailer. We found Hammer's body later when we all went to Studio 1. That's all.
I have a question about one part of your testimony. You were fatigued, so you had Sal take you.
Sorry. Van. There's a van at Studio 2. I had him take me in that. I thought it might be risky to walk, what with that monkey's head toppling over.
I see. Very well, Mr. Wright. Your cross-examination.
This is the final battle, Nick. Let's do it! Alright. What are we gonna press her on?
We can press her on pretty much everything.
By yourself? Yes. And you didn't stop at the employee... stop in at the employee area? No. Are you always this terse? Yes. Oh, dear. Did no one leave during the meeting? No one. Come on, let's talk a little bit more about that. The witness did not come here to engage in idle conversation. Stop interrupting the testimony. The same could be said to you, Mr. Edgeworth. And please stop banging on your little desk, it hurts my ears. And when exactly was that? I've forgotten. Maybe you could try remembering? No. The meeting ended at 4, and the rehearsal was scheduled for 5. I would think it was between those times. You would think? Come on, all you did was state the obvious, Edgeworth.
This is...
Hold on.
Very...
You had Sal take you? What does that mean? It means what I just said. I had Sal take me in the Studio 2 van. Oh, right. And what were you doing during that time? Don't hit your desk. It irritates me. Yeah, Mr. Wright.
As he
Oops. It was a 15-minute break. I love this game. Do you have someone who can verify this? Sal. No, I mean someone else? One person is enough. If she committed murder during that break, she wouldn't have had time to eat a T-bone steak. If I had some evidence that proves she didn't eat that steak... Kinda wish she'd said a little more. It's hard, I think she's pretty used to being the boss. But I'm sure you'll find some kind of contradiction in what she said, somewhere.
That's the end of the testimony.
Yep. So there was red on this, so we have to find some kind of proof that she didn't eat the steak.
I wonder
and we
if...
have to do it with evidence.
I wonder
Jesus
if
Christ.
Sal ate all of it. But...
Well, think back. We examined the plates outside Studio 2, and Maya said that there was something weird about them, right?
Was there?
There was. What was missing?
What was missing? I've got no clue.
When you eat a T-bone steak, what do you leave behind?
Oh, the bones, obviously.
What was not on the plates?
Are you implying the bones weren't there?
Ha! As I thought. You claim you ate a T-bone steak. But I say you did not.
What? What's this now, Mr. Wright?
Look at this.
It's a plate.
This plate was on the table in the employee area. As you can see, a large bone has been left behind. Mr. Wright, need I remind you it was a T-bone steak? Exactly my point. Remember, if you will, Miss Vasquez and Mr. Manila ate at a table outside the trailer. Yet there were no bones left on the plates.
That's not our
The
evidence.
plates were bare. Miss Vasquez? Tell me, how could a person eat a T-bone steak and not leave the bone? I think I know how.
You ate the bone. You didn't eat the steak, obviously.
You didn't eat any steak during that break. You took your steak and threw it somewhere, like that incinerator.
I see. Then what was Miss Vasquez doing during her break?
Isn't it obvious, Your Honor?
Picking on something. Meeting the Steel Samurai.
She was meeting with the Steel Samurai.
Order. Are you saying...
Yes, Your Honor. As Miss Vasquez left the trailer to eat her steak, she ran into the Steel Samurai. And then you did it. You killed him with your own hands.
Mr. Wright? Isn't that a little presumptuous? Right.
What kind of stunt are you trying to pull, Wright? Let him claim what he wants. You say I did it? Yes. Fascinating. And here I was worrying that today would be as boring as all the rest. Very well. Let us have a battle of wits, you and I. Any day, Vasquez. Good luck, Nick. Let's see. What was that murder weapon again? Oh yes, the samurai spear. Yes? I am, as you can see, a woman of petite stature. How could I possibly use that heavy spear as a weapon?
I mean, I've seen small people pick up things that I couldn't pick up.
Sure.
know.
Assume that, for the sake of argument, she is not strong enough to pick up that spear. How could she do it?
How could she do it?
Well,
She could leave it propped on something and push him into it.
that seems like he would kind of object. But, if she's not strong enough to use the spear, what's the answer?
Oh, but she couldn't.
I think you would have a great deal of difficulty using that as a weapon. Pretty much anyone would. Huh. You see? Yes. However, that has no bearing on this case. Meaning, the samurai spear was not the murder weapon. What?
What is the meaning of this? The spear was found lying next to the victim's body.
I have proof, Your Honor. I can prove that the samurai spear was not used as the murder weapon. You're gonna have to think back to day one of the investigation.
Day one.
We learned something about something very specific.
Well, I mean, no, I'm looking at the new photo that we got.
This one?
But the samurai spear was broken.
I present my proof, the so-called murder weapon. But that is the murder weapon. Not so fast. Remember that this spear broke during the morning action scene run-through? But someone fixed the spear. It was the security lady. She fixed it with duct tape. Now tell me, how is it possible for someone to stab a man who's wearing a thick costume with this? Through the chest? It would have just broken.
Order.
Mr. Wright, what are you driving at? Think about what you're... Silence. I'm the one testifying here, and I will be heard. Are you quite sane? Are you even aware of what you're saying? If the samurai spear was not the murder weapon, then pray tell what was. How was Hammer killed?
Well, Mr. Wright, can you tell us what weapon was used to kill Mr. Hammer? Yeah, I could say...
Would I make a claim like that if I couldn't tell you what the weapon was?
I'm afraid your confidence can be sometimes be unfounded, Mr. Wright. Very well, let's see what this murder. Let's see this murder weapon. So now we can show the
Look at this photo.
What is this? Why? That's Jack Hammer standing at the top of those stairs. Order. If I cannot have order, this trial will be suspended. Kick everyone out! What are you doing?
Right? Jesus.
Mr. Wright, what is all this about? What is
This
about?
photograph is from 5 years ago. There was an unfortunate accident in Global Studios. This is a photo of that very accident. Not a word of this was leaked to the outside. It was a close-kept secret at the studios. What does this have to do with the current case? Mr. Edgeworth, you still can't see it? See the fallen man in this photo? See how the fence post pierced him through the chest? What are you saying? Yes. What happened 5 years ago? has happened again.
Mr. Wright, continue.
It's 2:30 p.m. on the day of the murder. Miss D. Vasquez meets Jack Hammer outside the Studio 2 trailer. Then she did it. She pushed Mr. Hammer off the stairs onto the fence. Just like Mr. Hammer had done himself 5 years ago. Though whether she did it on purpose or by accident, I cannot say. In other words, the victim, Mr. Hammer, he died in the same way that he caused another man to die. 5 years ago. Precisely. Ironic, isn't it? Very creative, Mr. Wright. I could use a man like you in my script writing staff. You deny that what I say is true? Mr. Wright, let's say, for the sake of argument, that Hammer died at the trailer as you say. Yet the body was found at Studio 1, was it not? And in the evil magistrate's costume, no less. Are you then claiming that I carried the body to Studio 1, and returned to the trailer all in the space of a 15-minute break? How could I have disposed of the body? The break in the meeting at the trailer lasted 15 minutes, from 2:30 to 2:45. Could Jack Hammer have been pushed off the stairs to his death, then carried to Studio 1 and placed inside his costume? There wasn't enough time.
Indeed. Well, Mr. Wright, how could she have dealt with the body? She had another way.
What if she had another way to carry the body, other than with her own hands? For instance... Actually, for that matter, there was no need for her to do the deed in 15 minutes. And there was a way for you to carry that body. Interesting. Let's hear it then.
Mr. Wright, please show us how she carried the body, and that would be with the van.
Once you start connecting the dots, this game gets awesome.
Yeah.
Miss Vasquez, you carried the body to Studio 1, and you used the studio van to do it. Recall your testimony. There was to be a rehearsal afterwards, so we went to Studio 1. I was fatigued, so I had Sal take me. There was a van there, right? I had Sal drive me. You used the van to carry the body to Studio 1. Then, before everyone else got there, you put the body into the magistrate costume. Hold on, Wright. Don't forget it was Sal Manella that drove the van. Are you suggesting that Mr. Manella was a conspirator?
Of course he was.
Of course Sal Manella has to have been a conspirator. The body had to be placed in the van and put into the costume. There's no way Miss Vasquez could have done that alone. Also, don't forget that they had to dispose of the Steel Samurai costume. They had to, because it was covered in Mr. Hammer's blood. They probably burned it in that small incinerator. Remember, we haven't been able to find the costume.
Oh? Yeah.
Well, Miss Vasquez, shall I continue?
She's about to snap her smoking stick. Why is she smoking in court?
You're smoking. You're smarter than... Thanks. I appreciate that. Thanks for fucking me up there. You're smarter than you look, Mr. Wright. I lose. You win. It was fun. I win?
Speechless.
So what happens next? Don't me. Don't you have anything to say? What would you like me to say? Huh? I lost? Something like that? I just said that. Wait, so you mean D. Vasquez, so it was you? You killed Jack Hammer.
The court is silent for once. There should be uproaring.
Who can say? Huh? Are you sure I did? Mr. Wright, we just engaged in a battle of wits. And the result of that battle? You proved the possibility that I murdered Hammer. Right. But that is only a possibility. Proof is another thing altogether. You lack decisive proof, Mr. Wright. What?
Order. Oh. and now Mr. Edgeworth's going to do that.
Well, you got to say the line.
Yeah. Oh, Mr. Edgeworth. Mr. Edgeworth, your thoughts?
Of course, it's as the witness says. Certainly, it does seem very likely she did it, but there's no proof. Edgeworth isn't sure. Well, I came here as a witness today. If you've no more questions, I'll be leaving. What do I do now?
Testify again.
Because if we accuse her, then we've already done that. No more questions, she just gets away. I'd like you to testify again.
Testify again?
Know when to give up, Mr. Wright. Think about it. Even if I were to testify again, what's the point? I can only say what I've said before. The truth, Mr. Wright. I've already said all there is to say. What would happen if I said it again? You'd ask the same questions, get the same answers. A waste of time. Damn. Damn! Come so far, only to fail.
As it seems, there are no further questions. I would like to end the cross-examination of the witness, Miss Vasquez.
What?
Yes, Mr. Edgeworth?
I was hoping to come up with a question while I was objecting, Your Honor. I didn't.
What? I see, very well.
Your Honor! I request that the witness testify again. You are the prosecutor, are you not? Why are you badgering me? I'm your witness. I just want to hear your testimony again. Does this make any sense to you, Your Honor? I don't see that we have anything to gain by repeating the last several minutes.
Mr. Edgeworth, I too see little point in making Miss Vasquez repeat herself. What exactly do you want her to testify about?
Well,
yes. How about the incident 5 years ago?
Indeed. Verily, I say, ergo. I want to hear about what happened after they found the body.
After they found the body? Ooh, very good question. Very well. The witness will testify to the court concerning this matter.
Nick, why did Edgeworth... Who knows? He probably realized she did it too. But wasn't he the one that said he always gets a guilty verdict? After all that, Edgeworth... I was with Sal and Oldbag, the security lady, when we found the body. The assistant was there too, only Powers was absent. I immediately called the police, then Powers showed up. The security lady Oldbag was quite agitated, pointing at Powers saying he did it. I asked to be left out of the proceedings. I went back to the trailer to get my script and direction notes. Then I went home.
I see no issues raised by this testimony. Mr. Wright, your cross-examination.
Okay, Nick, we're close, real close. She may be acting tough now, but if you put her on the spot, she's sure to falter. Find the key you need and twist the truth out of her, Nick. Right. Do you want to press on everything?
Yeah. I don't think we have anything yet.
What time is that? We were to meet at 5 for the rehearsal, so I'd say it was then. When exactly did you and Mr. Manella arrive at the studio? About 10 minutes before. I wasn't stuffing any bodies into costumes, mind you.
Well, we're not going to lose patience, because we might as well press harder.
Where were the other employees when you got to the studio? They weren't there yet. Well? Then you could have put Hammer in that costume with Salmonella's help. Oh? What did I just say? Did I not just say I wasn't stuffing any bodies into any costumes? You should try to listen to what people are saying, boy. Boy?
The witness will continue her testimony.
Mr. Powers was taking a nap, correct? So he says. Did no one go to call him? Remember what? There was a dead body lying in front of us. You expect me to be calm? You certainly seemed calm enough when I accused you of murder. Wait a second. Wouldn't that be the other way around? The other way around? You discovered a murdered body and one person was missing, right? Wouldn't you normally go looking for the missing person?
I have to agree with the defense on this one. Well, Miss Vasquez...
Logically speaking, perhaps. But no one there was thinking very logically, I assure you. Also, without a Steel Samurai costume, Powers doesn't really stand out. We often left him on the bus when shooting at location. No one noticed he was missing. Poor Powers.
Well, I suppose that explains that. Very well, Miss Vasquez, you may continue.
What was everyone else doing at that time? No one said a thing. It was silent, completely silent. So we stood there until Powers finally arrived on the scene. Sorry, I'm late. Then silence. Dead silence. Kinda like that. Silence. Hey, Nick! Why is everyone so quiet? Someone should do something to lighten things up. Old bag. The security lady. Why did the security lady think Powers had done it? She said because she saw him going towards the studio. Right, the Steel Samurai. Did the detective arrest Mr. Powers based solely on the security lady's word? Perhaps not. She seems to have also given the detective that photograph. Of course, I heard all of this after the fact. That photograph, meaning the one taken by the security camera. She's not known for exhibiting the best sense of judgment when it comes to Hammer. I don't think there's anything in there I can use. You asked to be left out? Yes. It seems that everyone else was questioned, and I'm really not fond of that sort of thing. But you can't just decide who the police will and won't question. Thankfully, the studio thinks otherwise. They were nice enough to understand that since we were in a meeting, there was no way we could have been involved. Thus, they covered for us. Covered for you, or covered it up for you. Must have been a lot riding on it with all those bigwigs at the meeting. I'm sure her professionals helped convince everyone they didn't require questioning.
Why did she do that?
The script and your direction notes? Yes, they're quite valuable. It wouldn't do to have them stolen. No, I guess not.
Hang on, didn't we go get them for Sal?
Wait a second. I thought you came to Studio One for a rehearsal. Why didn't you bring your script and notes? Well, I was under the impression that we wouldn't be able to rehearse anything. Why? There was a murder, after all. Who could think of rehearsing after that? Oh yeah, I guess.
Very well, Miss Vasquez, please continue.
Your Honor, I have an objection to the witness's last statement. Huh? Think. Miss Vasquez says she didn't bring the script because there wouldn't be a rehearsal. Don't you see what that means? She would have had to know about the murder before she would go into Studio One. That face.
Order. Mr. Edgeworth. What you have just said is a reasonable observation. However, I find it hard to understand why the prosecution would make such a move. Or are you thinking of a career change to defense?
I appreciate the concern, Your Honor. I will stand by my statement, however, regardless of how the court sees my role here. Now, Miss Vasquez, do you have an explanation? I can't believe Edgeworth is helping me. So the prosecution is in cahoots with the defense? What kind of court is this? No matter. I think you misunderstood me. I had a perfectly good reason to believe there would be no rehearsal.
Very well, the witness will change her testimony to reflect this reason. Press.
How did you know about the injury? How did I know? Sal. He told me. Sal the director. I have to find something to peg this on her here. Or everything we've done till now will have been wasted. I believe in you, Nick. Go get him. So there's a problem with... There has to be a problem with this note.
Yeah.
What? I don't actually know.
Hammer was injured? I thought it was...
Wait a second.
Powers.
Yeah. Yeah, you're right! You knew that Hammer was injured? Don't you think that's a little funny? I mean, it was the Steel Samurai who was injured. It was Will Powers. What?
Mr. Wright, explain yourself.
Yes, Mr. Hammer is dragging his leg in this photo, but that's because he was pretending to be Mr. Powers. Pretending? One person was injured in the run-through that morning. That person was Mr. Powers, not Mr. Hammer. Now, why did you think it was Mr. Hammer who was injured? I already said it was Sal who told me. That's right, he must have gotten it wrong. I think not. Mr. Manella was at the run-through that morning. He would have known it was Mr. Powers who was injured. He saw it happen. Why would he tell you the wrong person? Miss Vasquez.
You saw him limping.
Actually, you didn't hear anything from Mr. Manella. You saw Mr. Hammer limping with your own eyes.
Yes, but... wasn't it Powers who was... Mr. Powers who was injured?
Yes, but remember, Mr. Hammer was dragging his leg too. He was pretending to be Mr. Powers.
Ah!
And when was he doing this? Well, it would have to have been after he put on the Steel Samurai costume and went to Studio 2, where he was murdered. Exactly. Miss Vasquez, you met him, didn't you? You saw the Steel Samurai limping. And Mr. Hammer was in that Steel Samurai suit. That's why you were confused. That's why you thought it was Mr. Hammer who had been injured that morning.
Order. I will have order.
Witness, can you refute this claim? Yeah, let's see you sneak out of this one, Vasquez. Very well. I have a question for you. Why are the real killers always so persistent? Why in the world would I want Mr. Hammer dead? Yes, he'd fallen on hard times, but he was a star. I had nothing to gain from his death. Nothing. So,
Yes,
we've established means, opportunity, but we don't have motive. Why would she... That's alright, let's see.
Why would she have killed the victim? If there is a reason, it is unclear to this court. Does the defense have anything to say on the matter? In other words, can you prove she had motive? Of course we can prove.
Okay.
What do you mean, okay?
I have proof, and I'll show it to you. I presented the court evidence as to Miss Vasquez's motive in this murder.
The event 5 years ago.
This is my proof.
This is the photo from before.
This photo reveals the motive in this murder. I'm right, aren't I, Miss Vasquez? 5 years ago, Mr. Hammer was at the height of his fame. With D. Vasquez's help, a terrible accident was swept under the carpet. Ladies and gentlemen, the case currently up for trial. It began on that day, 5 years ago. Ironically enough, that accident precipitated Mr. Hammer's fall. His fall from stardom. His guilt weighed him down, no doubt. However, you, D. Vasquez, used Mr. Hammer. You made him work for you for petty change. Bringing us to the present day, and Mr. Hammer's last role as the evil magistrate. Yes, undoubtedly it was a constant source of shame for the ex-star.
One moment, Mr. Wright. We are talking about motives here, yet you've only talked about Mr. Hammer. It almost seems as if it was Mr. Hammer who had killed D. Vasquez, not the other way around. What motive would Miss Vasquez have?
Yes, that's right. According to what you say, I would have had no reason to kill Hammer. He was a good source of income for me. And I never get rid of useful men. It's a policy of mine.
Mr. Wright, please explain Miss Vasquez's motive for murder. We don't have evidence, do we?
Think it through.
Think it through, he says.
Well, think about the timeline. Jack Hammer and Will Powers are training in the morning. Then they go to lunch. Jack Hammer specifically drugs Will Powers, steals the Steel Samurai costume, goes to Studio 2, talks to D. Vasquez, and ends up dead. Who had motive? When you think about it that way, it seems like Hammer had a plan to do something to D. Vasquez. She didn't have a motive. She was defending herself.
Yeah.
She had no motive, Your Honor.
What's that? Because she thought it was Powers, obviously.
All Miss Vasquez did was push him off the stairs in self-defense. What's that now? It's simple. Mr. Hammer was intending to kill Miss Vasquez. What? What? Your Honor, Jack Hammer drugged Mr. Powers with sleeping pills. Jack Hammer snuck into the dressing room and stole the Steel Samurai costume. Jack Hammer wore the costume to fool the security lady into thinking he was Powers. Then Jack Hammer made his way to the trailer. And for what purpose, you ask? To kill D. Vasquez, who had so cruelly taken advantage of him all those years.
Yeah, there we go. Knew it. You should put that out, by the way.
Secondhand smoke is no joke. So, you did do it, didn't you? Yes. I am guilty. It was me. Someone call an ambulance! There's blood everywhere! We're too late! Ah, Miss Vasquez! What happened here? Manuel fell from the trailer stairs. Yeah, the girl in the photo was her. Manuel! Miss Vasquez, please, try to remain calm. No.
I thought it was
How could
him.
this? It was an accident. Mr. Hammer was doing an action scene and... No, Manuel! Don't touch him. Miss Vasquez! No! Please don't die. Please. Oh, I guess she had another one. Or not. Congratulations, Mr. Wright. I lose again.
Mr. Edgeworth, where's D. Vasquez?
In the waiting lobby, Your Honor. As calm and collected as ever.
I see. Mr. Wright.
Yes, Your Honor?
It appears you report about yet another miracle.
I thank you, Your Honor? I think not, Your Honor. Will Powers was innocent. That he should be found so is only natural, not a miracle.
Yes. Yes, you're right. I take it back. You have done your job. Congratulations. Very well. This court finds the defendant, Mr. Will Powers, not guilty.
Boom! Boom! Ticker tape parade!
Oh, and he's there now. Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
That is all. Court is adjourned. Woohoo! Got 1 p.m.? Wow.
Yeah, like 3 hours.
I don't know what to say. Thank you so much.
I'm just glad you're okay.
Yes, but it's sad. I know now Mr. Hammer stole my costume. It's bad enough he wanted to kill Miss Vasquez. But to think he was trying to frame me for murder? It makes me sad. Tell me, why, Mr. Wright?
Huh?
Tell me. Why did Mr. Hammer want to play me?
Oh, I know why.
Oh, yeah, because...
Well, this is what I think. Mr. Hammer wanted to put the blame on you because...
The accident.
No. What was he before the accident?
He was starved, so to show the kids, yeah.
It's because you were the Steel Samurai.
Because I was the Steel Samurai?
Mr. Hammer was a big star once, but he was reduced to acting in a kid's show, and as the villain to boot. The kids loved the Steel Samurai, and so he hated you.
I think I understand. He could have just told me. I would have changed places with him any time.
Aw, man. I think you're missing the point.
Thank you. I'm just glad it's all over.
So am I. So am I. Congratulations, WP!
Oh. I'm not sniffing. Thanks to you, I'll be able to don the Steel Samurai outfit once more.
About that.
I can't wait to get back in that sweaty costume. Is something wrong?
No, of course not. Nick Edgeworth.
Oh, he doesn't look happy.
Say something, right? I'm not good at small talk. Huh? What? That was too bad, Edgeworth. You don't waste any time gloating, do you? No, I really want to thank you. Vasquez would have gotten away if you hadn't stepped in.
Pleased to meet you. I'm Powers, Sniff.
Edgeworth. I'm a big fan of your work, Mr. Powers.
Oh!
Liar. Right. I must say, I hadn't expected to meet you again after all these years. Meet again? However, in retrospect, it would have been better had we not met. Thanks to you, I am saddled with unnecessary feelings. Unnecessary feelings? Yes, unease and uncertainty. Aren't those kind of necessary? They only serve to get in my way. You listen to me, Phoenix Wright. Don't ever show your face in front of me again. That's what I came here to tell you.
Mr. Wright? Was that guy your friend?
What? Friends? As if. They're rivals, right, Nick? For now we are, I guess. Huh? Why do I get the feeling I'm missing something? Come on, Nick, tell me. What's the deal with you and Edgeworth? And so the curtain closed on another trial. I caused quite a stir by revealing that accident from 5 years ago. It was the talk of the town. Thankfully, Global Studios rethought its programming change. They went back to making kid shows again.
The Pink Princess.
Nick! This is it! The new show starts today! You're gonna watch it with me, right? I'll admit, I was kind of surprised. I didn't think they'd seriously go through with it. You have to buy trading cards too, okay? We have to trade with Cody and that assistant. Fine, I'll do it. Isn't it great that WP gets to play the lead again?
What?
I wonder if they'll show his real face this time. I don't know. I don't think the world is ready for the real Will Powers. He's not the lead, but... whatever.
Are you sure it's not
Turnabouts?
I think it's a better story that Will Powers is the Pink Princess.
Oh boy, Turnabout Goodbyes. That's a good one. Alright, so next time on Character Select, we will go to the officially unofficial last case of this game.
Unofficially unofficial. What?
So when this game came out on the Game Boy Advance in Japan, there were only 4 cases.
Oh, okay. And
when it was ported to the DS, they added a 5th one called Rise from the Ashes. But we're going to do all 5. Don't
How on the nose? Rise from the Ashes.
So thank you very much for watching. Make sure to click that like button down below if you liked it. And Space, I'm going to give you a sneak preview of what happens in the next episode. But everybody else, bye-bye.